great stirring is underway. War is inevitable. Brace yourself, Percy.
Welcome into the Birdwire. Today we're going to talk about Percy Jackson a little bit more. Again, really exciting to be in person. It makes it so much more fun to be able to drop our thoughts. He's trying so hard because the first season. See, we never really got a chance to do a first season review of Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little bit and our reaction to the Percy Jackson season 2 trailer. So we'll start with this. What did you think of season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians from fans who actually grew up reading the books and knowing the entire storylines?
Okay, this is where we disagree. All right. So when you're a kid, it's easier to read a story and see like a kid doing things. And you're like, wow, that could be me. Whoa. But when you're like grown and you see like an actual
Because
kid,
we're obviously grown. Come on now.
well, you see like a 12-year-old kid riding the bus and you're like, hey, where are your parents, kid? And then he fought the Minotaur and it's like he's like this big and he's like this big and it's like, no, he died. I don't know. Like I know he was 12 in the book, but it just like in my head he's always like a 16 looking kid. It just seemed like an actual like little kid doing all that stuff was jarring.
Because Walter Scobell is small. It's small. And to me, we don't necessarily disagree because I think I agree with you. The only place that it works is if you have to make it kind of lighthearted. You kind of have to bring down the stakes and make it a little more comedic in order for it to seem more realistic. Like, we don't really think about the fact that, like, Ash is 10 and all the crazy Pokemon adventures he's had.
I kind of do. Bro is not 10.
But you think about it less, I guess I would say. You think about it less because of everything that's going on around him. And I think with Walter Scobell, they played such a serious Percy and such like a dramatic. And again, I mean, obviously,
also like wasn't the point
stakes
to be
are high.
high? Like that is it Percy's like not like a serious guy all the time.
Right. That's the whole point. Like it, and I know Rick Riordan is executive producing it.
He's got. I don't know. Boy was brooding like the whole show.
In a way, I'm kind of surprised that Rick Riordan was executive producing because I'm like, the Percy that we're seeing on screen isn't necessarily the one that we're
Save
seeing.
my mom. Fight the monsters.
Right. I'm like, that's not the one that we saw when we read your books. And I don't know if that's really the one that you saw when you were writing the story, Rick. I'd love to ask him.
It's a serious story, but like,
It had some levity. It had some lightheartedness.
Yeah.
And if you don't know exactly what I mean by how to do the balance, just watch The Adam Project. I'm still trying to get him to watch it. But Walter Scobell basically this is what they told him to play the role, right? You are a little Ryan Reynolds. And just do that. And he did that throughout the entire movie, and it was fantastic. And when I saw that, and then I found out that he was going to be Percy, I was like, oh, this is perfect. He can just do exactly what he did in Adam Project, and we will get Percy. And a movie like Adam Project had stakes that are pretty much on par with Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Yeah.
Now, you don't want to turn it... Yeah. I mean, the stakes were at least high, like equal, you know? Now, again, you don't want to turn it into like a stupid comedy where it's just joke after joke after joke, right? But like serious stuff can be happening around him, and Percy, he just doesn't take it seriously. That's like kind of his character. But I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll get a little bit. I know it's easier to watch now that Walter Scobell has like grown up a lot, obviously, in these past few years.
We watched it. We want to talk about the trailer now, right? The whole trailer, I didn't see a smile on his face.
Yeah,
Like, bro.
So I'm kind of worried that season 2 will be plagued by some of the same issues as season 1 because I did like the faithfulness of it, but it's just like I gotta admit, like as much as we hate the Percy Jackson movies, they had
I feel like
the
he
levity
embodied
of the
the
story.
character a bit better. Like it was just the story was wrong. It's kind of like what you were saying about Fantastic Four,
Right.
Where Chris Evans played a good
Human
Johnny
Torch.
Storm,
Yeah.
but the story just wasn't written.
But the
very
story
well.
was bad around him. Yeah, it wasn't written well around him. And so that's the part that I don't know they're addressing that or that they felt like that was an issue with the way it was portrayed. And now it would kind of be weird for him to go from like not take things
Yeah,
as seriously. Like you can't change his
You
character
can't
in the
change
middle of
his
the
character.
show.
He's his character is his character.
Yeah. He can't change his character in the middle of the show. His character is his character. It would be weird to have to like change it up
I
in
mean,
the
you
middle.
can grow, but he has to. He needs to have a character arc to get to that. Now you can't
Right.
do it.
Right. Like and like to me, like even if we look at Thor, right? Thor was very serious at the beginning.
Yeah,
And
and
eventually
kinda
his
worked out to
arc.
be so-
Now Ragnarok, they definitely sped it up, but I felt like you could see it in movies like Avengers and Age of Ultron. he was starting to get more lighthearted the more he hung around humans, and things like that.
I'll say one thing: the adults are doing a great job.
Yeah. Like it feels like Percy's portrayal in the first one, that should have been him in Last Olympian. We should have seen him become that, right? Instead of because throughout the series he gets more serious and takes things more seriously until he's leading an army against the Battle of Kronos.
Also, by then he's like a grown person, which is a much better. I don't know. I just seen a kid like, bro, why are you on the bus? How'd you get on the bus? Don't let a 12-year-old kid on the bus. Where your parents, bro?
And I know
And Annabelle's also kind of like, I mean, they're all they just are all very clearly children. And I don't know if I'm down with that.
yeah. Hopefully we're wrong, right? And it'll still be a story that captivates us and everything. It looks intense and kind of gritty.
But like, why? That's not this.
It's like that's not my Percy Jackson and the Olympians. It was the Last Olympian was, and to me, like that would have been the cool part if they ever got to that movie.
Okay.
But they decided, and again, Fox messed up the movies. But even we talked about this before, because like Rick Riordan has always said, I imagine this as a series, not as movies. And of course, the book writes like he didn't have anything to do with the movies. They were sold by his publishing company. Nothing he could do about that. But I'm like, also, if you read The Last Olympian, that's a movie. Like the intensity, the stakes, the way that like that's a movie to me. Like it could have been not gonna say like the next Harry Potter, the way those books translate into movies. But the problem with the movies is not that they cut things out because you have to if you're adapting a long book.
It was a different story.
Yeah, they just
was
changed
different
They
story.
changed things, and they didn't make it better. You could have cut stuff without having to do that. So we'll see. I mean, like I said, the trailer looks good from a cinematic, storyline. But here's my biggest thing. We're not gonna have fun while watching it. We had fun while we were reading those books.
Yeah, there's some shows where it's okay to be like sad. Like, you know what? If I'm watching Squid Game, okay, cool, we can be sad. But I shouldn't feel like that watching Percy Jackson.
And like if that's what the Percy Jackson stories were, okay. Like there's a series called American Gods on Stars. It's about like the gritty, horrible nature of God. Like it's intense and it's kind of disturbing actually in a lot of ways. But that's how the stories are. Or like Game of Thrones, right? There's nothing really like levity about those books. So the series adapted that tone. To me, they're getting the story, but they're not. They're missing the tone.
Yeah, missing the tone.
They're
That's a great
missing
way
the
to put it,
tone.
You want to hear
That's
a
what
fun fact
kills
about
me.
all the tones of those like gritty stories? They're not carried by children. Because that's really
That's the
weird.
hill he's gonna die on.
That's the hill I'm gonna die
That's
on.
it. That's
I
just
need,
the
like,
only
I don't-
explanation. It's tough, and again, it's hard to see. So I mean, I hate for this to just be crapping all over it, but it shows how important it is. You gotta have tone because I don't know. I haven't met a Percy Jackson fan that's really satisfied with the series so far. Now, granted, it's only in our own circles. There's not as many Percy Jackson fans as there are Marvel fans out there, and maybe he's trying to appeal to a new generation. But there's just an element of fun that I think the series is 100% missing.
But,
Like
like-
the best,
Well, oh, wait. Because you said maybe he's trying to appeal to a new generation. But like, why?
right?
They didn't grow up reading the books. We grew up reading the books.
Yeah, you should appeal to us. Appeal to us, man.
And then
Appeal
we'll
to
take,
us.
and then we'll take those kids.
25-year-old,
Also, it worked on us.
Yeah.
But, it'll work on them too. I promise.
Like the best performance. I looked up the actor to see if I could see his other stuff. The best acting performance in the first season was Ares, hands down. To me, it wasn't even close. You had Lin-Manuel Miranda in there. You had Lance Reddick in there. You had Jason. I can't say his last name, but he's been in a lot of stuff from Invincible to Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Some really big known, well-known actors, right? The best performance was Ares, and when I looked up his discography, this was like one of his first wars. One of his first roles. But the way that he, like his face lit up when he was like, "There's gonna be war," and like
Because he was having fun.
he was having fun. That's what we
fun.
wanted.
I need to see some fun.
I need to see that. And even I will say, his fight versus Percy was a little off-putting because I'm like, the sword is literally the size of Percy, like the sword that Ares was using. So it was a little
Wasn't it
hard
funny
to like
Percy,
realistically see it.
Oh, it's too heavy. I'm sorry. It's just so why we couldn't get like a Tom Holland looking kid where like Tom Holland like he's 14, but like the kid looks like he's not
Baby face, yeah.
baby face.
Timothy Chalamet is too mature of a face to do this. But anyway, I just think, again, I think they gave Walter. It's not that Walter Scobell can't do it or even was unwilling to do it. I think they just gave him the wrong direction on how to portray Percy Jackson. And I think, to me, like I said, I would have been like, hey, do what you did in Adam Project. And this feels like they're saying, be the opposite of that. We know you were like a fun-loving, sarcastic, witty kid. Instead, you're gonna be brooding, gritty, and mature.
It's sad. Which I know, like, sad stuff happens, but sad stuff happens in the books, and Percy in the books takes it
Right.
well. He takes
And
it
I
in
will also
stride.
say Percy's mom did a great job in her performance, right? I think she captured it very well. But the best performance was Ares. It was Ares. And I think hopefully it leans into that, but it doesn't look like the trailer is going to. So obviously I'm still gonna watch
It
it.
looks like it wants to be another drama, like Game of Thrones, Percy Jackson style.
Right.
And like, again, the children in Game of Thrones all died because
Right.
yeah.
And I would hate for them to go the route of Thor the Dark World and just change the tone of the next one. Like Thor the Dark World was so bad that they went to Ragnarok and just completely changed the tone. And like while it was a better movie, it was like too much. You know what I mean? It was like too much of a change. You could tell that it was a different story taken over. Like in reality, it didn't really make sense, right? So I'd love for them to like maybe move more towards what we want from Percy Jackson.
You got to work it. You got.
But again, from a character arc standpoint, like why would a mature character become like why would a kid become less mature and more silly? Not more silly, but just
And also, it's like, and to be fair, looking at the trailer, it doesn't look like we're getting a sillier Percy.
no, we are not. We are not getting a more wisecracking. We are not getting a. But again, I'm still gonna end up watching it. We probably all will. And I do appreciate how faithful they've been to the story, right? I can appreciate that a lot. But I think this has impressed on me how important tone really is. How important tone really is. Because Rick Riordan is a legend, and his books have maintained that tone. And so I don't know if that's something we'll get ever now that it's, already kind of been said and done. But let us know your thoughts on the trailer. Did you have any other thoughts you wanted to leave before we cut off for this one?
Maybe child actors should go to school and
That's his whole, child actors should be at school. We've had a long conversation about that before. But let us know your thoughts about Percy Jackson season 1, the season 2 trailer. How do you feel about it? It's coming out on December 10th. Are you excited? Do you know what we're saying about the tone? Just let us know all the feels that you have for this particular trailer. Until next time, thanks for joining the Blood Wire.